He took it and held it at his side. Kahlan kneeled down in front of him close. "Spread your legs," she ordered in an icy voice. She reached down between his legs, gripping him in one hand. He flinched, grimaced. "Don't move," she warned. He became still. "How many of the little boys you've molested have you killed?"
"I don't know, mistress. I don't keep count. I've done it for many years, since I was young. I don't always kill them. Most live."
"Make a good guess." He thought a moment.
"More than 80. Less than 120.
Zed could see a glint off the knife as she put it under him. Chase unfolded his arms, stood up straighter, his jaw muscles tightening at hearing what Demon Nass had done. "I'm going to cut these off. When I do, I don't want you to make a sound," she whispered. "Not one sound. Don't even flinch."
"Yes, mistress."
"Look into my eyes. I wish to see it in your eyes." Her arm with the knife strained and jerked up. The blade came up red. Demon's knuckles around the mace were white. The Mother Confessor rose to her feet in front of him. "Hold out your hand." Demon held a shaking hand before her. She put the bloody sack in his palm. "Eat them." Chase smiled as he watched. "Good for her," he whispered to no one in particular. "A woman who knows the meaning of justice." She stood before him, watching until he finished. She tossed the knife aside. "Give me the mace." He handed it up.
"Mistress, I am losing a lot of blood. I don't know if I can remain upright."
"It will displease me greatly if you don't. Just hold on. It won't be long."
"Yes, mistress."
"Was what you told me about Richard the Seeker true?"
"Yes, mistress."
Kahlan's voice was deadly calm. "All of it?"
Demon thought a moment to be sure. "All that I told you, mistress."
"There is some you did not tell me?"
"Yes, mistress. I did not tell you that Maud Sith Denna also took him as her mate. I presume so that she might hurt him more."
There was an eternity of silence. Kahlan stood motionless over Demon. Zed could hardly breathe with the pain, could hardly breathe past the lump in his throat. His knees shook. Kahlan's voice came so soft, Zed could hardly hear it. "And you are sure he is dead?"
"I did not see him killed, mistress, but I am sure."
"Why is that?"
"It looked to me as if Master Rahl was in the mood to kill him, and even if he didn't, Denna would have. That is what Maud Sith do. Mates of Maud Sith do not live this long. I was surprised he was still alive when I left him. He looked to be in bad shape. I have not seen a man have the aegil put to the base of his skull that many times and still be alive. He cried your name. The only reason Denna hadn't allowed him to die before that day was because Master Rahl wanted to talk to him first. While I did not see it with my own eyes, mistress, I am sure. Denna held him with the magic of his sword. There could be no escape for him. She had him for a lot longer than is usual. She hurt him more than is usual. She held him on the cusp between life and death longer than is usual. I have never seen a man last as long as he had. For some reason, Master Rahl wanted the Seeker to suffer a long time, which is why he chose Denna. None enjoy it more than her. None have her talent for prolonging the pain. The others don't know how to keep their pets alive that long. If nothing else, he would be dead now from being the mate of a Mord Sith. He could not have survived until now." Zed sank to his knees, his heart breaking with agony. He cried with the pain. He felt as if his world had ended. He didn't want to go on. He wanted to die. What had he done? How could he have allowed Richard to be pulled into this? Richard, of all people. Now he knew why Rahl hadn't killed him when he had had the chance. He wanted Zed to suffer first. That was the way of a Rahl. Chase squatted down next to him and put his arm around him. "I'm sorry, Zed," he whispered. "Richard was my friend, too. I'm so sorry." "Look at me," Kahlan said, the mace held high in both her hands. Nass's eyes came up to hers. She brought the mace down with all her strength. With a sickening sound, it buried in his forehead, stuck solid, tearing from her hands as he went down limp and fluid, as if he had no bones.
Zed forced himself to stop crying and come to his feet as she walked toward them, picking up a tin bowl from a pack along the way. She handed the bowl to Chase. "Fill this half full with poison berries from a bloodthroat bush." Chase looked at the bowl, a little confused. "Now?" "Yes." He noticed the warning in Zed's eyes and stiffened. "All right." He turned, starting to leave, but turned back, taking his heavy black cloak off, putting it around her shoulders and covering her nakedness. "Kahlan?" He stared at her, finally unable to bring forth the words, and went off to his task. Kahlan gazed fixedly, vacantly, at nothing. Zed put his arm around her and sat her down on a bedroll. He retrieved what was left of her shirt, ripping it into strips, which he wet with water from a skin. As she sat without protest, he cleaned the blood off her, applied salve to some of her wounds and magic to others. She endured it without comment. When he finished, he put his fingers under her chin, lifting her eyes to his. Zed spoke softly. "He did not die for nothing, dear one. He found the box. He has saved everyone. Remember him for doing what no other could have." Light mist from the thick clouds that hugged the ground began to dampen their faces. "I will remember only that I love him, and that I could never tell him." Zed closed his eyes against the pain, the burden of being a wizard. Chase returned, offering her the bowl of poison berries. She asked for something to crush them with. With a few quick strokes, Chase whittled a stout stick into a shape that satisfied her, and she went to work. She stopped as if she thought of something and looked up at the wizard, her green eyes ablaze. "Darken Rahl is mine." It was a warning, a threat. He nodded to her. "I know, dear one." She went back to crushing, a few tears running down her face. "I'm going to bury Brophy," Chase said softly to Zed. "The others can rot." Kahlan crushed the red berries into a paste, adding a little ash from the fire. When she was finished, she had Zed hold a little mirror for her while she applied it in the pattern of the Con Dar, twin lightning bolts, the magic guiding her hand. Starting from the temple on each side, in a mirror image of each other, the top part of each bolt zigzagged over the eyebrow, the center lobe of each passed over an eyelid, with the bottom zigzag over the cheekbones, finally terminating in a point at the hollow of each cheek. The effect was frightening, and meant to be. It was a warning to the innocent, a vow to the guilty. After she had brushed the tangles from her hair, she pulled her confessor's dress from her pack, took the cloak off, and slipped on the dress. Chase returned. Kahlan handed him his cloak, thanking him. "Wear it," Chase said. "It's warmer than yours." "I am the Mother Confessor. I will wear no cloak." The boundary warden didn't argue. "The horses are gone, all of them." She gave him an indifferent look. "Then we will walk. We will not stop at night. We will keep going. You may come if you wish, if you do not slow me down." Chase raised an eyebrow at the unwitting insult, but let it drop. Kahlan turned and started off without picking up any of her things. Chase looked over at Zed, letting out a noisy breath. He bent to collect his things. "I'm not leaving without my weapons." "We better hurry before she gets too far ahead. She won't wait for us." The wizard picked up Kahlan's pack, stuffing gear into it. "We better at least grab some of our supplies." He smoothed a wrinkle on the pack. "Chase, I don't think we are going to return from this. The Con Dar is a suicide venture. You have a family. There is no need for you to go." Chase didn't look up. "What's a Mord Sith?" he asked quietly. The wizard swallowed hard, his hands gripping the pack so firmly they shook. "Mord Sith are trained from a young age in the art of torture and the use of a merciless weapon of pain called an agil. That was the red thing hanging from Darken Rahl's neck. Mord Sith are used against those with magic. They have the power to take a person's magic and use it against them." Zed's voice broke. "Richard would not have known that. He had no chance. The only purpose in life for a Mord Sith, the only thing they live for, is to torture to death those with magic." Chase rammed a fistful of blanket into the pack. "I'm going." Zed nodded his understanding. "I will be glad for your company." "Are these Mord Sith a danger to us?" "Not to you. You have no magic. And not to wizards. I have protection." "What about Kahlan?" Zed shook his head. "A confessor's magic is different from any other. The touch of a confessor's magic is death to a Mord Sith, a very bad death. I saw it once. I don't want to ever see it again. Zed's eyes glided over the bloody mess, thinking of what they had done to Kahlan, and what they almost did. I guess, he whispered, I have seen a lot of things I wish to never see again. As Zed hoisted Kahlan's pack to his shoulder, there was an impact to the air, thunder with no sound. They both ran to the trail, ran for Kahlan. They had only gone a short distance when they found the last man sprawled across the way where he had lain in wait. His own sword jutted from his chest. Both his hands held the hilt in a death grip. They both kept running until they caught up with her. She strode purposefully along, eyes ahead, disinterested in what was about her. Her confessor's dress flowed and flapped behind her like a flame in wind. Zed had always thought confessors looked beautiful in their dresses, especially the white of the Mother Confessor. But he saw it now for what it really was: battle armor.